Zach, how are you, sir?
What's going on, man?
No,
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Just making content for the ClearCryptos channel. By the way, if you're new to us, my name's Austin. Let's get this wrong. There's that way. This is Zach. We both have our own channels. We make crypto content every single day. Every single day we make content. But we also make content for the Clear channel because we both believe in what these guys are doing. So links in the description below. Check them out. A lot of great content creators. Subscribe to the channel. So, Zach, what do you think, depending upon when people are watching this video, what do you think the remainder of 2022, and let's even expand it maybe into the first January, February of 23, what do you think is going to happen there? What is your 2 cents go?
Yeah. So, of course, this is the final month of 2022 with the final Fed interest rate hike. I think moving into next year, at least from the information I'm looking at, Austin, I think the Feds have one of two options, right? They can get it really aggressive in the first quarter of Q1 and start aggressively raising interest rates to pretty much pull the Band-Aid off of this thing and fast track the problem that we have, which is inflation. Or they can slowly just kind of gently hit us in the kneecap with a hammer for 12 months, right? That's kind of what I've been saying. That's kind of what I've been saying throughout these last couple of weeks. I hope they just pull the Band-Aid off. So I'd rather elect to have a really rocky 4, 5, 6 months, but solve the problem than to just be caught kind of where we were all year this year. Well, at least since June, where it's just, a slow, but slow teardown of the market. So,
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense. I mean,
no, it does. I think I like the kneecap analogy. I had a boxing metaphor where, we'd get knocked to the ground and then, we couldn't get back up. And then we would get the federal, we've had after the interest rate hike that's happened in December, that will be 7 interest rate hikes that we have had in the year 2020. That has never happened ever.
Most ever, right? Yeah.
Ever.
Crazy.
Ever. Okay. So I'll take it from here. I'll kind of give you my 2 cents on, I think here's what I think. I think that 2022, we might get a little bit of a bull run for the remainder of 2022. And I know we got people that we both know and trust and respect that are calling that kind of a bull trap. And I think January, February, I think the stage is going to be reset for not a great first 4 or 5 months. I'll agree with you on that number in crypto. And I think as well as stocks, I think that it does come back to your analogy of keep hitting us in the knees or just rip the Band-Aid off. The issue that we have, though, is one that you alluded to, and you and I were having some conversations with, again, some people we really respect the other day. We were talking about like real estate, which has nothing to do with crypto, but they're related, right? Yep. The fact that the Fed keeps raising interest rates, which is really their only main weapon to use against inflation, is when are you going to stop? When are you going to pivot to something else? Because by raising the base interest rate, like I have a friend who's a car salesman. He's like, people have stopped coming in because people have quit borrowing money because the majority of people have to borrow money to buy cars. I get it, right?
Right.
But it's not because they're like, I'm just not going to buy a new car, right? And so homes are the same way. So you're trying to combat inflation, but you've also are moving towards a scenario, Zach, for stagflation and ultimately deflation, which deflation is way worse than what we're dealing with now. And that's the fear, I think, is that if they don't pivot to a different model, and I'm not saying I'm not an economist, what that could be, but there's a point where you've got to quit. You can't just keep raising the base interest rate. You just can't,
So what do you think happens? I mean, is this the maybe a couple more interest rate hikes and then we see a pivot?
I think the short answer is yes. I think we have to.
And we won't hear from them in January, right?
Yeah, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. I think we need a break. February is the next federal rate hike. The only issue is that we will get a CPI report and we will get December's CPI numbers in January, probably January 10th, 11th, 12th. So I don't know the exact date, but somewhere in that area, we'll get that report, which would, if that shows that inflation has dropped maybe below 7.1, that's a good thing, right? We'll also get a labor report. in December, sorry, in January, that will be December's labor numbers. Here's the thing. The problem is, and I get it, inflation was rampant. I get it. They had to raise the interest rate, but 4 of them have been 75 basis points. Never heard of.
Yeah.
But like my wife's in real estate. She's, in the industry, right? And I know you have some friends that are in industry, and we both know people that are in the car business. And I'm just I keep coming back to these because people are going to stop spending money. And the other things to watch is going to be what the Christmas spending. We'll know that obviously real quickly moving into January, or what does that look like, right?
I heard Black Friday was not good for retail stores.
It wasn't. And if that's the first real barometer of it,
But on one hand, though, isn't that good in that shouldn't inflation make you spend less? Like, shouldn't that be what you want to see? I mean, I know that sucks. Like, people have less money to spend. Like, obviously it sucks, but like in theory, that's what you should want to see, right?
I think it goes back to inflation, stagflation, deflation, right?
Mm.
So, and the issue is that there's no hard line. Oh, we've done everything we can. Now we're out of inflation. Okay, now we don't want to step over the line and go to stagflation, right? And the issue you get is that where do you use the word pivot? Where do you stop? Where do you change? And again, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, it's at this number. I don't know those numbers. Right. But I think that's the hard factor is that you can raise the interest rate so much that because also it's a trailing model, right? We raise the interest rate now, and the impact is a trailing impact. So you're not going to know for another month or so. Personally, I think, maybe we're going to, we had the December rate increase. We're going to get one in February. And I'm hopeful that they will look around and have economists and things like this, and we'll go, look, let's chill out for a little bit. Let's see what the heck's going to happen here, because stagflation is not good and deflation is worse.
Yeah.
Is it? All right.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's it's going to be interesting. One quick final note. It would have been great if they had just started slowly raising interest rates in 2021. We wouldn't really be here, but we had this like artificial year. Everything's good. Everything's perfect. And then, oh shit.
Oh, it's not going to be real painful. We're not going to have to do much. It's going to be easy to deal with this inflation thing.
And then we hit June, and it was like we were at 9%.
7 interest rate hikes later. I'm just going to keep saying it. 7 rate hikes in 1 year never has happened ever before. And by the way, you notice mainstream media is not really talking a lot about that.
No, but you know what? From an investor standpoint, though, I know we talk about this all the time, Austin. It's like, this is a good opportunity, though. This is the time where money is made. I mean, it's times of fear and people running for the hills that if you run right out into traffic and you find some good opportunities,
run out into
you like that? I don't know. I just pulled that one out of that.
All right, we're done. I'm cutting it off there. All right, thanks. If you're still interested in learning more about Clear, links in the description below. We'll see you. Go make some money. Bye.